guys, you really need to take the red pill.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys, so this is going to be a fun video depending on how you see it, but we're talking about something that I think has to be talked about. Now, I've seen quite a few Spurs content creators talk about this, and I have to say that it's a little off. Like, I think that a lot of people are misleading, and I think that a lot of Spurs fans in general are misled. So what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the Star Conundrum. Now, first and foremost, I just want to get this out of the way, and you can answer this in the comments. Who's the star of this team? Who's the player that you go to? Who is the leader? Is it Jonte Murray? Yes, it's Jonte Murray. Obviously, it's Jonte Murray, okay? Jonte Murray is a phenomenal player. He's had a great season, and overall, he is a really good point guard, and I will say that. I will say that with all confidence in the world. But at the end of the day, what I'm seeing a lot of content creators and what I'm seeing a lot of Spurs fans talk about is how the Spurs don't necessarily need a star. They don't need another guard. They don't need a wing player. All they need is a big man. And it's so silly. That is not the case whatsoever. And I have some metrics for us to look at to kind of prove that point. But first and foremost, I got to get this out of the way. We got to talk about Jonte Murray's stats, because I don't want to lead you to a way where it sounds as if I'm mitigating what he did this season. Averaging a near triple-double is impressive no matter what player you are, no matter who you are, and especially in the context of him being a 29th overall pick, he exceed expectations. Now, I know that he was supposed to be a lottery pick that year, but that's not what happened, okay? That's not the reality of what happened. He was a 29th pick. And overall, this is really good. When you're averaging 21.1 points, that shows consistency. And one thing that the Spurs have missed or not had is a lot of consistency. And I will say, even his bad games aren't completely terrible. I mean, the last time he had a bad game, it seems, was in December. So he's played fine. He's played phenomenal. And I'm not going to sit here and just like dog on Jonte Murray. So let's get that out of the way right now. Statistically, DJ is good, but statistically, it doesn't paint the full picture. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this is what I want to show first and foremost. This is actually showing the total amount of isolations that a player gets versus the total ISO impact. So if we read here, it says total ISO impact measures the value a player adds below what an average player would score given the same volume types of isolation opportunities. So as we can see here, I know you can't see Jonte, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. But overall, if we're just looking at some of the superstars of the league, we need a star. They are high in this category. If you see Giannis, total ISO plays pretty high, and on average, what would you expect? Well, you expect him or players to be over here. In compared to other people that would average this amount of total isolations, he's right here. He has a lot of total ISO impact, brings a lot of impact offensively. Same thing with Luka, same thing with Joel Embiid, which is ridiculous. Oh my goodness, they ISO him like every play. And then as you can see here, DeMar DeRozan, same thing. Jokic, KD, James Harden. I know we kind of dog on James Harden, but he is a star. Now, I'd say all that to say this, okay? Where is Jonte Murray on this list? Well, if you're looking for him, he's bottom left, okay? He's down here. Now, this is not good, okay? That means that he's not getting a ton of ISO plays, which I'm sure the Spurs just don't think that that's a good idea. So he's not getting a ton of ISO plays. But on top of that, even on average of other guys that would get the same amount of ISO plays, he's way below average there. And as you can see, somebody that's pretty close to him as far as ISO plays, ISO isolations, because if you want to say, well, he just needs to be ISO more. No, that's not how that works. But even guys that are ISO'd, even right at the same amount that he is Steph Curry. And as you can see, Steph Curry's impact, total ISO impact, is way higher. Like, it's all the way over here. So overall, this is one thing that you have to look at when you're talking about a superstar, because this is kind of the X factor for a lot of teams. You need that guy that can go ISO. You can say that doesn't matter. Well, team ball, the system, but that's not the facts here. When you talk about the San Antonio Spurs in the history of championships, they've always had a guy that they could just go to, okay? You could say what you want about those Spurs teams, but Tim Duncan could go ISO any given night. Whenever you needed him to, he could do it. Shoot, even 2014, Duncan had to go ISO a few times. So you got to just keep that in mind. Overall, ISO plays and ISO impact is very important. Now, isolation plays isn't the end all be all when it comes to stars. Okay, when it becomes when you're trying to judge who's a star and who's not, that's not something that really matters as much. One thing that you want to look at as well is this scoring gravity versus high value assists. So what is this? Well, it says here, ladies and gentlemen, playmaking is not just passing. Scoring gravity and the ability to create high value assists, dunks, open threes, free throws, paints a picture of who is really generating offense. And we scroll down here. If you're wondering what scoring gravity is, it says scoring gravity attempts to quantify a more context-neutral playmaking metric, recognizing players whose self-creation and scoring naturally opens up opportunities for teammates, uses second spectrum tracking data, lineup context, doubles drawn, and a variety of other factors. So if we scroll up here, once again, what we expect is the scoring gravity of a lot of these players that are stars to be fairly high, and they are right there. Even SGA, he's like in all these categories, by the way. This dude must be a beast. But SGA's right here. But you can see Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Ja Morant, Kat, Tatum, LeBron, Giannis. You know, all these guys are very high in scoring gravity because that's just them being superstars. And one person that really impressed me, by the way, is Trae Young. Oh my goodness. His high value assist is the highest in the league. And then his scoring gravity is stupid high. Like oh my goodness. Anyways, that's besides the point. So you're wondering, where is DeJounte Murray on this list? Well, DeJounte Murray, as far as scoring gravity, is behind guys like, obviously, we would probably expect this, slightly behind Paul George, Drew Holiday, Julius Randle, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, blah, blah, blah. Like, we would expect that, right? But high value assists, I will say this, is pretty high. Like, he's 12th in high value assists. But you got to keep this in mind because we're painting the full picture here, okay? Not just statistics. One thing you got to keep in mind is that if you have very high scoring gravity, you would expect the high value assists to be fairly high. But the guys that he's behind right now don't necessarily have great scoring gravity, at least some of them, okay? Like, he's behind, as you can see, Draymond Green as far as high value assists, but Draymond Green doesn't generate any scoring gravity at all. So overall, I think that you need to just paint this full picture. Who is DeJounte Murray? Is he a bad player? No, he's not a bad player at all. He's a really good player. The fact that he's 12th in high value assists and his scoring gravity is not bad, not terrible. I mean, slightly above LaMelo Ball, slightly above CJ McCollum, slightly above CJ McCollum. That's pretty doggone good. That is not bad whatsoever. But we do not have a star. He is not a star, and we don't have a star on this roster right now. Now, can he get better? Sure, but at the end of the day, that's not the situation that the Spurs are in right now. So when we're looking at this roster, I think it's a little misleading to just say that we have a star player right now. We don't. DeJounte Murray, even with the amount of attention that he gets, even the amount of sheer, look, we have to give it to him. ISO plays are low. ISO impact is low. Scoring gravity is about average. High value assist is pretty doggone good. But other than that, what we're looking at is a guy who's a really good point guard and who could be a really good point guard on a really good team. But right now, as it stands, that's not the situation we're in right now. And you have to question quite a few things. You have to question, well, what would this look like if the amount of attention wasn't on him? Would he still be able to have these high value assists? You have to question these things. But overwhelmingly, who is DeJounte Murray? He's a really good player. Okay, he's a good two-way. He can do a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, we don't have a star. The statistics isn't everything. People look at statistics and say, "Oh my goodness, this is amazing." No, it's not everything. These are good statistics. It's impressive, but at the end of the day, you have to look at the full picture here. And the full picture, this even shows you, even with these metrics, it shows you the guys that they say are superstars in this league. It's not a fluke. It's not a fluke. It's not a fluke. James Harden, Luka Doncic, no one's missing here, okay? Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Jokic, Giannis, Joel Embiid, LeBron James, Tatum, even Cat, SGA. No one's missing here. There's no one where it's like, wait a minute, this is misleading. No. Everyone is right where you want them to be, okay? Even my boy Kyle Anderson. I kind of feel bad for this. Look how far back Kyle Anderson is. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But overall, look, you can kind of see it. Like the stars are right around here, and then the superstars start to open up around here. So, look, I understand that a lot of us want to just believe that all the Spurs need is a center, but that is not true. It's a little misleading. It's wrong. We need whoever is the best player available in this draft, and you need to find a go-to scorer, a go-to star. And I think that the Spurs recognize that as well, and I think that's part of the reason why they went after Josh Primo, because they know he has that ability. They didn't just focus in on, well, we just need a big man. No, you need the best player available at that spot, or who has the highest upside. So you guys let me know what you think. Hopefully I explained this to the best of my ability. Well, I did do it to the best of my ability. Hopefully I explained it and articulated it in a way that you actually understood what I was saying. But anyways, love you guys. Oh, what was that? Anyways, you want to support the channel, only $2 a month, Patreon, YouTube members. I'll give it to you later. Till next time. Deuces.